saying to Rocky, because he said, I'll do it tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Why didn't that solicitor let her go through? Why didn't we complete?
Yeah.
Who's messed what up, or something that you're not in control of in your team, and you think, how the hell did that happen? What keeps you motivated and keeps pushing you?
I think what I find is that I slip very quickly into a state of defeat, which I've felt before in my life, and I'm very, very scared of that feeling. That feeling is dangerous. That feeling is how people lose jobs, they lose businesses, they lose relationships, they could commit suicide. That is a downward spiral. I'm very, very afraid of that feeling, because it's like it's the thing that can suck you into selling yourself on your own excuses. So, for example, what I've found is if you're drinking loads and you're hungover and all that sort of stuff, isn't it funny that multi-million-pound deals never really fall in your lap? They never really go your way. The phone call never really comes to you. The deal never really comes your way. That sort of thing. It's true, because the reason being is your vibration is off. Alcohol, socialising, late nights are all things that dim and dampen your vibration as a human being. So when you're vibrating at a really high frequency, and everyone knows how that feels, where everything you touch turns to gold, basically. And, you feel energetic. A problem gets thrown at you, bang, 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 you deal with the problem and you're on to the next one. That vibration, that's what I need to keep all the time. And I won't sacrifice that for anything. I'm not saying I live like David Goggins, I don't. But for 70-80% of my week, I live extremely disciplined. I eat the right food. I'm drinking protein shakes. I monitor my calories. I'm exercising 2 hours a day. I'm mapping out my goals. I'm executing them. I'm filling my diary up. I'm making sure I'm productive. I don't have time to think about what could go wrong. I'm too busy. I'm too busy to think about what's going wrong. If you've got empty space in your diary, then you've got a big fucking problem. You've got a big problem, because there is a saying, I think, in the Bible, the devil makes work for idle hands. And I believe that is one of the greatest lessons in life that people should learn, is that's one little saying from the Bible, is that if you are sat there twiddling your thumbs, expect bad things to happen. Get fucking busy, and get busy very, very quickly, because suddenly good things will start happening. And that is, fear is what keeps me motivated.
Sounds like you've got like a good process in place. Like you plan your week, your month, probably, what you're doing next, and you have routine.
Yeah.
To keep you away from any sort of mental health, to stop you overthinking, procrastinating.
Yeah, I think mental health is a great subject, because obviously there are some really severe cases of mental health where we're talking about medical analysis of mental health, and that's not something I can comment on. But when we're talking about depression, anxiety, we're talking about worry, we're talking about not being able to bounce back from things, feeling low self-esteem. These are things that everybody feels. I feel them. Every day I have tiny little thoughts that will kind of pop up, and I'll kind of grab it and, nah, mate, not today. Do you know what I mean? That everyone has that. It's normal. The reason being is they're strongly aligned with our fight and flight system. That's what the case is. What I'd recommend with anyone who's maybe feeling low self-esteem or not feeling like they could be better, is just put some protocols, some really small things in place, right? Don't try and attack the whole mountain. Just try and take the first few steps, because when you start taking those first few steps, you'll be able to take a few more, then you'll be able to take a few more, and then before you know it, a month has gone. If you think, God, like I lost, from my own perspective, I felt quite down in myself. I was happy in business, but I was 11 kilos heavier last year. This time I was weighing 112 kilos, just under. And I remember having, I was on holiday and I got this, and I was in denial as well, but I felt low. And I had this photo in the swimming pool near the Burj Al Arab in the beach club there. And I thought, my God, I'm fucking overweight. And it depressed me. It ruined my holiday. Because it was like the realization that the camera hasn't lied, and you think, fucking hell, you can do all the bicep curls you want, but you are out of condition. Like, do you know what I mean? So I took on board, attacking my fitness goals, attacking like getting into the understanding of diet, of calories, of workouts, all that sort of stuff. And then I dropped like 11 kilos in 6 months, and and it dropped off me when I started actually getting a plan in place. So attacking things like mental health and how things can affect you being depressed, start exercising. That's the first thing.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, how important is your gym?
Yes.
If I took away your gym tomorrow, how?
I don't think I'd cope. I think like that is the one thing that everyone in this world should be doing. The funny thing is there's so many knock-on benefits from it. If you're 40 years old, 50 years old, if you've got like children, do you want to be that parent that can't run around with their kids and you just sat there and they're just running around you, or do you want to be healthy, fit, energetic, and doing it with them, and them looking up to you like that. That's always the vision if I ever have kids, is to be that healthy, fit dad that they look up to, as you get older. And that should be enough motivation for anyone with children. And like I said, start with something positive. If you have to just roll out your bed and set a timer and just set for 10 minutes and just do push-ups for as long as you can for 10 minutes, have a break, do some more push-ups, and just do that for 5 days run. Just start, because when you start something positive, it will lead to something else positive. If you go into that negative loop and you go, I'm going to do it tomorrow never comes. It's tomorrow again. Have you ever seen one of my favourite scenes was, if you've ever watched the Rocky films, was Apollo Creed saying to Rocky, because he said, I'll do it tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And I always hear that voice.
Come on.
And I remember watching that for the first time as a kid, like a teenager, and it gave me goosebumps when he's shouting at him and he's like, there is no tomorrow. And I thought, there's no tomorrow. Every time I have a problem, I do it now. And that's the other thing, is there is a massive power in dealing with your problems now. I mean, that is something that people just don't do.
Like sweeping things under the carpet and expecting no sort of consequence. Of course, you're going to trip over it after.
The saying I heard is called paralysis from over-analysis. That's what it's called, paralysis from over-analysis. You're paralysing yourself and your progress through over-analysing a situation. What if it goes wrong? What if this happens? What if that happens? Before you've had 3 or 4 of those questions, you stop. Just do it. Just do it. I'm too fat to go to the gym. Put your fucking tracksuit bottoms on and go. Turn up. Grab a water bottle and start walking up the treadmill and start picking your next machine to go on. And do it. And do you know what? When you're in the gym, let me tell you something. Do you know fit people in the gym are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet? Do you know why? Because they respect people who are in the gym training. If you think if you're a bit overweight, a bit out of shape, things like that, and you are worried about what people think about you, trust me on this, they don't think that. I've seen some overweight people in the gym and I've walked over to them and said, come on, like, keep up the great work. If you need any advice, just let me know. That's what I do, because like, I love helping people, and people need to understand that if you go and speak to someone who's in the position that you want to get to, they will help you every single time. And if they don't, they're fucking dickheads. They are dickheads, and they should never ever do that, because I will help anyone that wants advice, whether it's business, whether it's maybe fitness. I mean, I'm not a fitness expert, but I know basics. And if you go to a gym and you speak to someone and they're in shape and you say, look, I'm trying to get in shape, have you got any advice for me? They'll give you advice. They'll probably invite you to train with them. They probably will. Like everyone who I've ever spoke to in a gym has always done that. And that's the thing. Like, don't be scared, and pluck up the courage to do it. Get yourself in an environment where you're putting yourself out your comfort zone.
No, I can totally agree with you with that one. Some of my best mates who are proper gym goers, competitors and stuff, a lot of them, they've come from a lot of pain as well.
Yeah.
One of my used to be a best friend of mine, Ollie, he's 120 kilo, full of muscle.
Wow, that's big.
Big guy. We used to train together. I was like more athletic, but we were good at different things, but we'd find common things to do. Yeah. And I'd always, like, when I was like competing in 2019, I'm like, bro, you got to train me, you got to push me, like, break me, but I noticed he was a really like shy, kind person, because he goes, my dad broke my nose when I was little, you know, back in Czech Republic, and times were really hard, and he beat my mum up, and I just never wanted to be in that position of vulnerability again. So looking at him, he looks scary, but when you talk to him, very nice.
Everyone's had their journey. That's the thing, is like, you know, we're all human beings at the end of the day. We all bleed the same. We all breathe the same. And, you know, people just have to stop overanalyzing things, because social media, as great it is for marketing yourself, it's also got the other side of the coin. And the other side of the coin is it can be used to disable people from a productive point of view. People could swipe through TikTok watching useless videos. And of course, TikTok, weirdly, I find TikTok quite useful because it always pops up with like a David Goggins video or Joe Rogan podcast or Jordan Peterson. And if I'm walking around, I find it quite interesting. But if all you do is look for girls putting videos up, or, you know, whatever, and that's all you're interested in, that's all you're looking at TikTok, that's not productive. You're not getting anything good to your brain. If you're just looking at, you know, jokey content or slapstick humour on there, a little bit now and then's okay, you know, we're human. But if that's all you're consuming for hours and hours and hours, you're not feeding your brain anything. So you've got to make kind of conscious decisions with social media. My advice to anyone as well is, I think YouTube is a godsend. I think, you know, I watch YouTube every single morning when I'm on the treadmill, when I'm warming up. I will consume half an hour to 40 minutes of either a podcast or a motivational speech or something to set my mind correctly. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and you should treat it like your own body. I think that, you know, if you're consuming junk, it's the equivalent of consuming junk food in your body. You've got to consume good food. You've got to consume good content. The two will go hand in hand. I remember being on a Tony Robbins conference, and he said, I can tell everybody's lifestyle just by looking at the physical shape they're in. That's what he said on stage. You know, if I look at you, I can tell if you lift weights a bit. I can tell if you've got a bad diet. I can tell you everything about you just by looking at your physical shape. Because your physical appearance, whether people want to hear it or not, is a direct representative of your mental state. And if you are 15, 20 kilos overweight, that's because there is something missing in your mental state. You are not addressing things as you should. And there's nothing wrong with that, but addressing it is the first part. And when you get into the gym and you start making a change, you'll feel 100 times better. Your self-esteem will lift, the clouds will lift, your chest will feel lighter, and you'll feel better about yourself. And people need to understand that it's those actions that will change your outcome.
Totally agree. And it don't just have to be gym. You know?
No, that's just one subject.
I've done karate.
Yes,
I've done boxing.
Yeah.
You know, I've done rugby for university, competed. Like, find your thing. Keep yourself active. Yeah. Find a community. You know, there's other people who keep you motivated, and then just carry that across into your work and business as well, you know?
Yeah, I think, like, you know, it's all about just having that outgoing, out of comfort zone taking those out of comfort zone actions that will help you get ahead. And I think that, like, a lot is attached to, there's a lot of pressure on people as well. I think that's the other thing, is that, like, you know, for women or girls, you know, you'll see, like, there are women and other, you know, on Instagram, and they're editing their photos and editing their videos and all this sort of stuff to make themselves look better, and it might make someone else feel inferior, and that could damage people from what they consume. And it's like, the worst thing you can do is look at these people. Yeah. Don't give them your attention. Don't let these things creep onto your phone, because what you've got to do is, the only content you should be consuming is how to improve yourself. It's you versus you every single day. Just be better than you was yesterday by 1%, and you're winning. And, you know, what will happen is, when you do that every day, people close to you will start making comments. They'll start saying, oh, you've lost weight. Oh, you look really good. You look healthy. Oh, my God, you know, how have you done it? And you'll be like, God, how's that happened? You know, but it all starts with those small steps. If you're consuming stuff that's making you feel low about yourself, you're going to feel low. You know, if you're just watching people, like, for example, if you're just watching, you know, if if you're just a normal person, you're watching people who've been on Love Island, and you know they're making these people out to be living perfect lives, and the reality is after 6 months of being on the show, they can't even get fucking work. You know, like, you don't know what their actual lives are, is what I'm saying. Some people have made it really good out of it. I'm not slating Love Island. I'm just saying, as an example, like, you've got to, you'll never ever see the whole picture. You'll never ever see the whole picture. You know, I think
social media is like 10 times amplified of what.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
So sometimes you see this model one. She's been dieting for the last 7 days to get shredded for just that photo shoot. You know,
and then and actually she's depressed, or like, you know, I think Jordan Peterson said, you know, you might see a guy driving past you on a Porsche, and you think, God, I wish I could have a Porsche. And the reality is, his life's falling apart, and he's thinking about wrapping it around the next lamppost. Like, you don't know. You don't know. You know what the thing is you've got to just focus on what is needed for yourself. So the first thing is, right, and this is, I'll give anyone some advice on this because we're talking about your physical health, right? Do yourself a favour, strip yourself down to your underpants, go to a mirror and have a good long look at yourself, or take a picture of yourself. Now look at your picture and tell yourself, just yourself, are you happy with what you see? Just do it. Because I'm telling you now, when the answer's no, it's all right saying I'm depressed because it's in your mind. It's a weird thing because it did it to me. And I'm only saying it because when I saw myself in that fucking beach club, it ruined me. And I was like, right, something sparked in my head, and I ain't doing this anymore. Do it, take a picture of yourself, and just be honest with yourself. Don't crucify yourself. Just say, am I happy with what I'm looking at? And if you're not, then it starts then. It starts at that moment. Just the same as if you look at your own situation. Now let's take the physical aspect out. Have a look at your bank account. Have a look at your job. Say, am I happy? Have a look at your direction. Say, am I happy with what I see? Don't crucify yourself. Just be light about it. Am I happy about it? No. It starts then. It starts now. The good thing is it can always start. It's not game over. It's the start of the game. When you're honest with yourself, you know, I see people and they go, oh, well, I'm on 50 grand a year. Well, I'm on 60 grand a year. Yeah, but your bills are 40 grand a year. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Which means you're on 20. Like, you know, it's
funny that, like, when people increase their assets, they also increase their liabilities.
Tell me about
it.
Yeah.
You know, you get a little bit more money, got a little bit more of a promotion, and then the first thing you think about is upsizing. Well,
you want to buy a Range Rover then, don't you?
You want to buy a nice car, or you want to increase your liability in terms of, like, so people don't even know what an asset and a liability is. Mm-hmm. When you've got a buy to let, that's an asset because it's producing your income.
Yes.
When you're increasing where you live, it's actually a liability because it takes money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
So, but people don't know when the right time to do it. You know, as soon as they get their first bit of money, they're just thinking, how can I improve my lifestyle? Rather than, how can I buy a couple of properties? My money's going up here.
Yeah.
I'm still saving that. I'm getting some more money from my business, and then I can still get it. But people don't want to wait.
Oh, 100%. I think that, like, you know, one of the most foolish things people do is buy their residential home with the first piece of money that they get. It's nuts.
And then they tie it down. So that's where the mindset
buy a
comes from.
Buy to let and rent it out and just leave it there, like, in an area that you know is not going to go down, and it rents out easy. And, like, just hand it over there. And even if it's making you, like, a few grand a year, like, don't worry about it. You won't notice it. It'll give you an extra few £100 to spend, but you'll get the financial gain. Like, you know, I bought quite well on a few properties when I was younger, but I've always rented the house that I've lived in. I've never, ever bought a house to live in. I've only ever bought to rent out. I've not got a massive portfolio, but fuck me, they've made me a lot of money over the last 10 years. And, you know, and when I think about, and the other thing is where I live, I'm not being funny, but I get bored every 6 months. Like, I want to change. Like, I want a different view. I want a different place to live in London. And then when I look at, like, the apartment I live in, it's like £2.5 million. Do you think I'd pay £2.5 million for that? You fucking need your head examined, mate. Never in a million years. It's not worth it. It's a nice flat, but it's not worth it.
Yeah. So when did you buy your first house? And
2019.
Okay.
Well, I saw these deals coming in the estate agents, so I saved up money and I bought, and that's what I did.
Is that where you mainly invest in property yourself? Like, where do you put your earned income?
Back into the business.
Back into the business, because it's all about growth.
100%. I'm more sold on business than I am even on property, and we sell property because the reality is that, like, if you want to build a business, your first few years should be reinvesting. So if you get 100 grand of it, 80 of it should be going back into the business to grow, to get this to grow and to become more dominant in your field. And that's how you be successful in business. If you just, oh yeah, we've made 100 grand, we'll just sit and I'll invest in a few properties. Well, your money's gone and your business is back to zero effectively. Whereas actually, if you use it to grow, market more, get your social media on point, get better people in the business, get people who are producing money in the business, these types of things, you know, these are things that are going to serve you well. I'm obsessed with business from an income perspective and a growth perspective. I think that it's an amazing thing that has infinite possibilities, and that comes with reinvesting. So people should be investing in their own businesses first.
Yeah. My father always says, he goes, first year you got to feed the business.
Yes.
Second year the business feeds itself.
Yeah.
Third year is when you're going to start getting something sort of.
Absolutely. I think your father's given you some exceptional advice. I think weirdly every single training scenario or seminar I've done, business is mostly a 3-year plan. It's debt. I describe it differently from your father, but it's the same concept. It's you go in debt for the business, you get yourself back up to the bread line, and then your third year you start making profit, and that's kind of how it really works. Now we did it quicker, but most businesses will be a 3-year plan just to get your neck above water.
Okay, so Tyrone Ash Real Estates, where are we at now? Like, where's it? So we started in 2020, is that correct?
Yeah.
Around about then, you started flying. So how big are you now, and what are your regions, areas?
Yeah.
And, you know, where are you going towards? So that sort of transition.
Yeah.
What's happening?
So we're well over 100 agents across the UK in prime and super prime areas. Our average sale price in 2022 was 1.8 million. We are selling across prime and super prime areas in the UK. As said, we are expanding now into Dubai, so we're launching the same business model in March in Dubai. And we've got huge recruitment drives. Thank you. Huge recruitment drives for the UK and Dubai now underway. To be honest, it's very, very exciting because what we're finding is the internal structures are getting better and better and better. We're now, I believe, going to be such a dominant player in the luxury end of the market for the next 2 years. I think people are going to have a real shock this year because we've done well. And we've kind of muscled our way in. We've been the noisy neighbours, if you like. Now, the backbone of it, the foundation of it, is very, very strong. Our internal structures, our training, our processes, our recruitment is exceptional.
What makes you different?
I think that's a good question. I think that there's a number of things that, from a seller's point of view, that will be beneficial for them to use us, and that's that we have strategies that are far more advanced than a normal estate agent. Most estate agents, if it's worth £1 million, stick it up for 1.2. If it hasn't sold, price reduction till eventually they undersell the property for the owner. Don't get me wrong, there's some good estate agents out there. For us, we have different pricing structures. We have far more advanced marketing campaigns to develop hundreds of thousands of views, dozens and dozens of buyer inquiries. We create competitive sales environments so that the price gets driven to the highest level for the owner. We want to get the owners the highest possible price in the market. We don't just want to sell it for whatever we can. And that we've got hundreds of millions of pounds of case studies of credibility in that field to show owners. So if they are looking to sell a luxury property, they should definitely get in touch with us. The service, the process will be far more advanced than anything they've experienced. And to be honest, I think we're just far cooler than the other businesses. I just feel like when we do things, we do it with style, we market with style, we own what we are doing. I see there are many self-employed kind of real estate companies and things, but even as an agent, they don't really appeal to me. With us, we're very image focused, we're very process focused. We want to share our successes, and I think we've impacted the industry as people who are kind of, I don't know, we're just a lot more of an attractive proposition. I feel like when I look at our business, it's exciting. When I look at other businesses, they're good, but they don't excite me. They like to dampen things. They like to corporatize things. For us, yes, we are becoming a corporate-sized company, but we're never going to lose the feel of individuality, of personal brand. That's going to be the big driver with us.
How do you motivate your people? Because you've got a brilliant mindset. You know, you're a good thinker. You know how to, you know, network and grow your business. How do you put that into your sort of employees? How do you get them sort of motivated? Because there's no I in team.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think the great thing is with our agents, so they're self-employed. They're running their own businesses. So entrepreneurship and the benefits of entrepreneurship have got to be a massive appeal to the people in partnership with Tyrone Ash Real Estate. Then you've got to have a burning desire to effectively want to earn over 250 grand a year. You've got to love luxury property. You've got to love personal branding and social media, and the combination of it all. We provide all the training, the processes, and you know, if that doesn't motivate you, you shouldn't be in the business. And we make it very clear to people who don't really show the right signs that, look, this probably isn't the right business for you, because, you know, we're very, very passionate about all of those subjects. And, you know, the people that are thrive and succeed, and we've got so many success stories of agents within the business that have bought, you know, really expensive cars, houses, watches, whatever you want to, whatever floats your boat, you know, it's all been done. And, you know, there are very little other businesses that have shown the success stories of the agents like we have.
Do you have offices, or people work from home? How does it work?
No, so we are connected remotely, so everyone works remotely, and we have, weirdly, we're more connected than probably people are in offices, because the communication is constant. So it's constant through Zoom meetings. Obviously, we do meet up in person at selected times and all this sort of stuff. The accountability, the performance, everything's mapped out extremely clearly. It's all connected centrally. So we monitor, we help, we work with everyone remotely, but we're connected very, very closely. So we don't miss on our services provided in any way, shape or form. I actually think offices are a redundant process. I think they're useless. And I think there's enough technology now to make sure that everyone's doing what they need to be doing without having them chained next to each other in a desk.
Do you think real estate is changing?
Yes. I think from a market perspective, I think people need to be realistic on what they're selling for now. The market's going to decline even further slightly. I don't think it's going to crash, but I think it's certainly going to, there's a few more tough months ahead. But from an industry perspective, it's changing massively. Social media is a big driver, but again, it's a bit like you know, when everyone was buying crypto, right? And you know, where a few people made money off it and all that sort of stuff, and then everyone was buying it, right? And I remember thinking, God, everyone's fucking buying this. I'm not buying it because of that reason. Well, social media is a little bit like that. Every estate agent and real estate agent is now on social media. So by saying we're on social media or we're doing social media, it's not a unique concept anymore. What the differentials are going to be results again. So it's like, for example, when every estate agent was just on the high street, the only differential was the results. Then what happened was some were all on the high street, and then innovators like ourselves and a few others started doing the social media thing and were attracting more attention this way, and there was the television shows and all that sort of stuff, and that put us ahead in that way. Now, results were good and whatever, but the measurable become the differentials of who's on social media, who's getting the most followers, who's getting the most views. Well, now everyone's on social media. Social media is now becoming the high street. Do you see what I'm saying? So now it's going to boil down to results again, and we're getting the results. And what's going to happen is, you know, you can make all the noise that you want. If you are not delivering results, when the tide goes out, we're going to find out who's been swimming with no trunks on.
It's all about action.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many people going courses after course. I want to buy the next course.
Yeah.
They're talking about it, but they're not doing it.
Yeah, get to fucking work. Get to work. Like, honestly, you know, the one thing everyone's missing at the moment is good old-fashioned fucking hard work. You know, go to work, make 100 phone calls, knock 100 doors. Do the old-fashioned stuff, because when everyone's on social media, it's going to be the old-fashioned stuff that carries you through. And that's what I think people are missing. They think there's shortcuts. They think there's prop tech that can carry you through. And no, that'll get you leads. That'll get you a few MAs and a few different things going on. But if you're not working hard, you're going to fail. And, I don't think people understand this fully. I think they think that there's a cheat code. They think that, we don't have to do this now. Technology is more advanced. No, you do. The hardest workers are the ones that will earn the most money every single time. Robots can't do real estate. I mean, you might quote me on that one day, but at the moment, I can't see it happening. Yes. I can't see a robot negotiating a sale. I can't see a robot going and listing someone's house. I just can't see it happening.
It's funny you say that, because crossing over with crypto, they actually think that you're going to be able to buy like certain monuments or like a bit of the Leaning Tower of Pisa or Eiffel Tower. They'll make an NFT, divide it into 100,000 pixels, and you can own a bit of that, and you always know the value because it's tied down to that.
Yeah.
God knows where that will go. But
I mean, it's not a remit that I know much about. What I do know is the only thing I can comment on is I know people who've blown a lot of money on crypto and NFTs and stuff, and if I was to ask them the same thing, I don't think they'd be ready to pull their money out now. But I'm not saying it. Listen, it's not something I can comment on fully. I just wouldn't do it.
I think it's a little bit about a strategy. So for me, I do real estate. I've got a rental portfolio. I split it up in care homes, HMOs, single dwelling houses for families. So I've got diversification.
Superb.
If the market tanks, 5 of them are care homes. So my money's guaranteed by the government. So I know how to manage my whole sort of portfolio.
It's amazing.
And go in sort of different, partnership with, and not all my eggs just in sort of one basket. Then I might do some stocks and shares,
but that's good as a side,
my ISAs, but still in commodities where it's like gold, silver,
other
versions of oldest money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then a small portion I might put into crypto to say, hey, I've got a few lottery tickets here. But people end up putting all of their money into that crypto and getting wiped off clean.
Trust me, that's it. What you're saying is like bang on. Like that's how you should be doing it. For me, people just think there's get-rich-quick schemes out there, and there isn't. And funny enough, the people who advertise I made millions and millions on crypto are usually the people selling the coins. And what they're doing is they're trying to, if you've received information about something that means you can get rich quick, that information was supposed to find you in order to make you take an action. And the action you're taking will not get you rich quick. It will probably fund the person that got you that information in the first place.
I just don't get it, Tyrone. Like when I'm on lives on like TikTok, I've got a nice audience there, and then people come on and they want to like a friendly debate. But these are crypto guys. These are people who get 25,000 people on one viewing, just causing a little stir up with a couple of little celebrities. Drama sells. But when there's somebody who's honest on social media trying to tell you exactly how to make money, they call you your old money. You're old school. But hang on, I saw my granddad be successful. I see my dad be successful, and I'm applying the same sort of knowledge and strategies and the infrastructure into the newest thing in front of me right now. But good stuff doesn't.
I think everyone wants to have the magic formula. Everyone wants to have the magic formula, and look, there are ways of shortening the distance. There are ways of leaning the odds towards you. There are ways, but you've got to be able to work hard. And I think when you can work hard, then what that will do is that will give you a very, very good foundation. And then from that foundation, you can build something. And then what might happen is you might buy a crypto coin with some of the money that you've got, and that might do well. Or you might buy an investment property, and then that might do well. You might invest in a business, and then that might do well. But you've got to work hard to be able to have those opportunities. And I think that, especially if you don't, we could talk about rich people who've got unlimited bank accounts to have a go at, but if you're not one of those people, then you've got to spend your money and make your moves wisely. And the fundamental foundation of that has to be hard work. You've got to think, if I'm going to put something into that, I'm going to work really, really hard to make sure that works. And you've got to keep focused on that until it works. And my advice is do something that's, physically there, something that's tangible, something that, bricks and mortar aren't going anywhere. Yes. People are always going to need a house to live in.
Yeah, even when someone
someone can crash a crypto coin tomorrow.
Yeah. Even when the market value goes down, at least you can see it in front of you. Do Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I mean, the thing is why I love actually being a real estate agent is that it doesn't matter if the market nosedives or it spikes, we'll always make money. It's not nice, but it's the way it is. If the market crashes, then cash buyers just come out like sharks and start buying everything. And when the market's buoyant, everyone's buying because they're getting mortgages left, right, and centre. So you can't lose. You can't lose. Some of the richest people were created in recessions. Why is that? Unfortunately, with capitalism, you capitalise on other people's misery. Unfortunately, it's just how it happens.
But you've got to get yourself in that position in terms of like, if I'm an investor, I'm not gonna FOMO in, feeling of missing out when everything's all high.
No.
We always look for the deals. I mean, the market comes down. Well, I believe in this asset. I know it's a good asset. So when it goes down, I'm buying at a discount. Yeah. And a lot of people get scared and run off. Tyrone, what is the end goal?
It's a good question. I mean, the end goal is, it's actually a deeper answer than you probably think. My goal in life is just that one day we're all going to have our day. We're all going to be on our deathbed one day. Whatever it might be. I'm hoping mine's going to be old, surrounded by people that love me. But all I want to be able to do is look back and know that I've given it 110%. Because I know now, God's honest truth, if I've given it 110%, which I do every day, when my day comes, I'll be happy to go, because I just know that I couldn't have given it anymore, and I'll be tired.
What would you like to be remembered for?
I think I wanna be the man that changed the face of real estate, and I believe I'm going to be that guy. And I also want to be remembered for someone that helps people change their own situations. One of the greatest gifts that I get from this process is I love watching people who didn't have the knowledge or the processes earn money, build a business to change their lives, their families' lives, and that gives me a great element of pleasure. I used to just attach it to material things. I still like the odd material thing, but the real joy comes from that. And that's what I want to do for my whole life. So I've been offered insane amounts of money for this business already, in the realms of 20, 30, 40 million. And I've turned it down because, frankly, I'll get bored. And secondly, I feel like I've got so much more to give.
Do you think this is your purpose?
Yeah, I think that I've got nothing, helping people do, finding that talent and helping people achieve what I know they're capable of achieving is the greatest gift. And, that's something that I will never want to stop. I'll never want to stop doing, or if I do, it's because I just physically can't do it anymore. And that's that's how I genuinely feel in my heart about it. It's a beautiful business that's got so much future that I can't even comprehend it in my head. It's like my own name, Tyrone Ash, is not even my name anymore. It's like it's a brand. I don't even know what my name is now. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. When I say Tyrone Ash, it doesn't feel like I'm saying my name. It feels like I'm saying like Nike, Louis Vuitton.
Is there any questions you wish I asked you?
No, I think you've covered absolutely everything. That was thorough. I feel like I've had a thorough examination.
I like people to know the real person and seeing what else you bring. Just who's the guy behind, the name. So a lot of people like to follow people for who they are as well and what they sort of stand for.
Yeah, I think one thing I'd like to finish on with you is the best bit of advice that I can give anyone is really have a look around who you're surrounding yourself with, because those people are going to determine what your future is. So if you are someone who has to be in the pub to be surrounded by 4 other mates that are probably not even doing as well as you, and you're just there because you know them from school or whatever, if you're going to allow that to be your future for the next 10 years, then you can expect the following 10 years to be fucking shit. And then you're going to hate life. I know many people from even where I live that have, you know, they've committed suicide, they've ended their own lives because of their own situations. And it's because they went to the same places with the same people talking about the same shit every single day. And then by the time we realised there was a problem, or people realised there was a problem, it's too late. Change your situation very quickly and try and level up with the people that you're hanging around with, people that inspire you, people that are going to push you to do better. And I promise you, when you do that, your whole life changes instantly.
Absolutely. It's all about your environment.
Yeah.
You know, and if your environment's not right, you don't want to fill your head up with rubbish. You know, we haven't got time for that.
No,
you know?
It's the funny thing is like, you know, I've been around people and they're like funny and they're like crack jokes and they make you laugh and all this, but actually that's great. But like, after you've done it for 3 years and you're in the same place and the same boozer with the same people, you know, you realise you're on a bloody hamster wheel and it's spiralling downwards as well. And you're like, you know, you can't let yourself slip into that. Speak to people that inspire you, you know, get yourself involved in a business or a partnership or a situation that can challenge you. And your situation will change for the better. But if you keep yourself surrounded by idiots, and just remember this, if you surround yourself with 4 dickheads, you will become the 5th dickhead.
Basically. I said the same thing. I said, look, what if I put you in a room with 5 mechanics and I left you there for 2 weeks? What do you think you'll know more about?
Yeah.
I know a little bit about engine, cars, gearboxes.
Yeah, of course.
Go and hang around with 5 millionaires.
Yeah.
And if not, come and join this podcast where we're two, you know, successful people are conversating.
I tell you the funny thing is, right, is that because it's not always easy. Like, say for example, you're like 20 years old and you're just coming out of uni or school or wherever it might be. You know, maybe there aren't 5 millionaires that want to hang around with you. So at least listen to them on YouTube and hear how they talk and how they talk about business and their knowledge about whatever it is, that subject that you're trying to learn more about, because you will become versed in that subject. So the next time you speak to someone who's in property or in real estate or in drop shipping, whatever the hell you want to do, you will have some knowledge on the subject, and then you say, oh yeah, I've got some knowledge on the subject, I've been learning about it. What's your business? And then you can start asking people intelligent questions. Start asking people intelligent questions, you'll get intelligent answers. Stupid points, what is it? I can't remember what it was. Stupid points get stupid prizes or something. It's like, but like, you know, what I'm saying is that like, you know, if you want to talk the talk and walk the walk, start learning how they talk and what they talk about, because when you start talking the language, you know, you'll get respect. If you just go, I want to be rich, let me hang around with you. Well, who the fuck are you? No. You know, it doesn't work like that. You've got to get some knowledge, put yourself in a situation where you're learning, and then people will value you being there. And the other thing is, they don't even have to be people that have made it. Here's the thing that I learned. You know how people say, you know, go and get yourself, and you're not wrong, by the way, in saying it, but I'm just saying, like, you know, oh, get yourself into a room full of millionaires. Do you know the funny thing is, if you've got 3 or 4 friends that are just like you, and you're all trying to make it, and you've all got that mindset, and you're all listening to the podcast, and you're all listening to the entrepreneurial stuff and the business stuff and God knows whatever else, and you're pushing each other to do better, that in itself has an exceptional value. You know, being around people like that, even if you're all broke, you're not broke. Up there, you're not broke, because you're going to get somewhere. And pushing each other like that is brilliant. And, you know, you don't have to be around millionaires. But what you'll find is that if you're all like it, you'll start meeting millionaires. You will. You'll start meeting millionaires. And then you might get a job with one. Yes. And then you'll learn off them. That's the way to do it.
Makes sense. I think sometimes you're in a better position when you don't have money, because you're uncomfortable. You haven't got it. You want it. You're trying to look for that hustle.
Struggle's the best bit. Yeah. Struggle's the best bit. Like, I was obsessed with getting a supercar, and when I got it, it was great, and it made me very, very proud. Did it make me completely happy? No. Yes. You know, the struggle was what made it sweet. If I was born and someone goes, by the way, you're 18, your first car's a Lamborghini, would I have appreciated the Lamborghini? Probably not. In fact, I put a post up 11 years ago. My first post on Instagram was me sat in a Lamborghini on a car show with the hashtag one day. For me, that's how long I've wanted it. And to have got it and to have driven that I didn't drive for 2 years, even though I had a license. because I knew the only car I wanted to drive was that car. And then when I picked it up, I was nervous as hell because I'd never even driven like a Ford or anything. So I'm pulling off in this 200 grand plus supercar, thinking, God, don't curb it, don't do, this is it. And of course, it was, that was the decision I made. And but it made me feel really proud, but it's not the definitive or the definition of happiness. It's not.
I think climbing that mountain is beautiful. Sometimes when you get at the top of your mountain, sometimes, in my life, it's always been, that's why I've done so many different careers, so many different businesses.
Yeah.
Even like during COVID, I set up little Greek kitchen next to Liverpool Street.
Nice.
Got it to £1,000 a day within 9 weeks.
Wow,
and
that's
I used to work in McDonald's part-time while I was in
so
banking.
You knew that industry, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, you just got to give them good food. You got to market online. Nobody can leave their house. Get on the Uber Eats, just Deliveroo, etc., and let's get up and running. But it was purely because I just want to sit at home.
Wow, that's amazing.
I couldn't go mad out there. I'd go mad just sitting at home. Do you know what I mean? So
I think it's amazing how many things you've succeeded in, and I think I think people should really take a lot of inspiration from that, because what you've done on every one of them is you've had a task or you've had a goal with that, whatever it might be, and then you've just followed it through. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I can see is that for example, you've picked it and you've gone, right, we're going to follow it through, and you follow it through, you can get it making profit. If the first hurdle, I would guarantee it wasn't smooth sailing.
Oh no.
No, and
just getting it open was an issue.
That's what I'm saying.
Environmental health.
There you go.
Your 5-star, and then one thing's wrong, and we ain't got an appointment till another 2-3 weeks.
There you go.
You're trying to call people up.
Because a minute ago it was, I took it from £0 to £1,000 a day, and that sounds like a magician's trick.
Yeah.
But actually, it's far from it. You probably went to hell and back to get the bloody doors open to make it legally okay, and people don't understand that, like, to be an entrepreneur and to be successful in business, you become a chief problem solver, and you actually end up spending 90% of your day solving problems to make sure that it makes profit.
Yeah. But the journey is the beautiful bit. I enjoyed being 21, my first house, stripping wallpaper down.
Yes.
And working with Rolandis, my builder, and we're doing partitions and how to run the pipes, and he's giving me 2.5 cables to do, the sockets, 1.5 for the...
I remember them well, yeah. Remember I was an electrician.
There we go, all of that sort of stuff. I've enjoyed that bit. Now, like my last deal, I bought 2 in August. It's literally, we bought it under market value. Yeah, it's got a couple of units in this place. Yeah, mortgage advisor's done it. All right, literally, the agent gives the keys straight to the tenant, and it was like, just one signature. And it gets really boring when you get to the end. So it's like...
What's your next thing?
Yeah, I need to start a new mountain, otherwise that can depress you as well when you kind of clock the game a little bit as well. I
think that was the thing. That's why I picked Dubai, because I thought, right, what a mountain to climb, Dubai. That is the the land of opportunity. It's the place to attack. It's the future of global wealth. Effectively, that's the place to attack. So that was a massive task in my head, and that was almost scary. That was the first time I got the rumble in my tummy again for years, where it was like, right, I've got to actually fucking do this now. And then once Dubai's done, there'll be somewhere else, probably more difficult, I don't know. And then there'll be the rest of the Middle East, and then there'll be, south of France. Then there'll be, who knows, America. Why not? Why not really try and slay Goliath?
I love the focus. It's like you've got a plan that when I get there, I'm going to go there.
Yeah,
there.
It's not going to stop.
That's beautiful to have.
Yeah, it's never going to stop, because I'll get bored.
Do you have any questions for me?
I think for me, what I'd like really, because you said you come from East London, you obviously didn't have like the easiest upbringing and all that. So, we've got, for example, Quaz in our business. He's from East London. He's been brilliant. And, for people who are going through that part of town where there's gangs, there's knife crime, there's all these different things going on. And obviously you're someone who didn't get dragged into that. What would be the most vital piece of advice you would give to a young guy or girl in that area to succeed, to break out of it?
Yeah, I think it's very important to have a routine, as you said earlier as well. Look at yourself in terms of, what am I doing with my life? Let's not make excuses, because we've all got a story.
Yes.
I conversate with entrepreneurs like yourself. You've had a little bit of trouble, but you didn't let that defy you. You know, we're not defined by the cards that we're sort of dealt.
Yes.
You know, I was called sort of fat boy. I was never a nobody. My first job was like in a cash and carry, age 13. Learned multiple streams of income, you know, loading cars. And I'm like, I'm earning £5, you know, per car. 8 cars, I'm earning 40 quid. I'm getting £3 an hour here, 10 hours, 30. So I'm earning more in that same amount of time just loading cars up. So just make yourself productive. Be around, you know, in the right rooms. Use all of your managers, no matter even if they're lesser or, you know, higher, wherever you're working. If someone's better than you at work, go and be next to them, learn what they learn and keep moving, you know. And, you know, McDonald's, I use my store manager as, you know, my mentor. Within, you know, 8 months I was a manager there, you know. I went to Barclays, you know, I was a cashier, but within 2.5 years I was in a boardroom. Be clever with your money. Don't piss it up the ball. You know, as soon as you can, put money aside. You know, forget them crowds who think you look cool in Gucci, Armani, when you don't have that sort of like money behind you.
Well, that's a personal attack on me.
No, not you, bro. But I'm just saying, you deserve it.
No, I agree.
You've got to reward yourself when you're there, but put that money in the background, put it into an asset, because later on these things will feed you and give you freedom of your time. So be around the right people.
Yeah.
Always stay working, even if you think you're better than that job. Listen, always be a student of life.
Yeah,
you know,
I think great. Yeah.
Always say I'm learning from every single situation, and this doesn't define me right now. And them small habits compounded over time will lead to the biggest changes, and that's what you've got to vibrate on. Because we can all have a plan. It's all exciting in the first week or two or month, and then it just like boring because of the consistency part comes into it. But we got to learn that consistency part is what makes us.
Oh, consistency is a great one to finish on. I think like you know, I've always if you look at any industry, whether it's, you know, I mean, I always use sports as a great analogy.
100.
You know, you talk about somebody, you know, like say for example, you know, the world's greatest football players. You know, they're going to be in the training ground every day. You always hear that the best ones always stay on the training ground the longest. They're always working the hardest. A golfer will do thousands and thousands and thousands of swings until they get the hit right, to be able to play at the top level. If they just went and did a few swings and then thought, oh, I'm going to go and play tennis, they would never get to the top level. You've got to consistently turn up, even when it's not going your way. Even if you have deals falling out of bed, if you have things going wrong, contracts being pulled, whatever, you get back up, you get back on the phone, and you start again. You get back up and you start again. Because the reality is one thing that people need to learn is every single industry is sales. That's the other thing. Even if you're a plumber and you're trying to grow your business as a plumber, if you cannot speak to developers and find out if they've got needs or a space to give you a chance to do the plumbing work for them, then it doesn't matter how good you are at the job, you need to close that sale. You need to close the opportunity, which means you've got to get a meeting with the developer. You've got to show them what that you can do, show them examples of your work, get a chance. When you get that chance, take it. Then you can make the money through your plumbing. Doesn't matter how fucking good you are at it. If you can't do that bit, then you'll always work for someone else.
Definitely, 100. So load them tools up.
That's it.
You know, learn all the skills you can and start applying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Good.
Tyrone, it's been such a pleasure having you on. I know our viewers are going to get a lot of gems from this one. You've spitted some real facts.
Amazing.
You know, on this podcast. So guys, make sure you're subscribing, commenting, let us know what you think, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Tyrone.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure.
Amazing.
Pleasure.
Wicked.